What up, YouTube? So it's not usually my style to be inflammatory, but I gotta have a little bit of fun sometimes. And I just wanted to say that telling someone they got a disorder, especially when they're real wee, it's abusive, honestly. Just straight up, right? Like, take me, right? I'm like a little kid, like 5, 6, 7, and they tell me I got attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, right? But like, I don't have a disorder, y'all. Just boring. Like, school's boring. The other kids are dicks. Like, I don't have a disorder. You don't gotta put amphetamine in my orange juice. It's a little messed up. You know what I'm saying? And then it turns out that could like mess you up and make you more susceptible to depression. So then it's like cha-ching, right? Now, maybe it was called major depressive disorder back in my day in like early 90s, but I think I had the dignity to just call it depression. Like, depression is solid, it's respectable, right? Like, you're going through a depression. It's like an event in your life. You're depressed, you go through it. It's not like a disorder. It's not like defining you as a person. But of course, I was like heavily medicated for that. And the next one is fun. Bipolar disorder, right? Turns out when you give someone meds that like spike up their heart rate and they don't sleep for 3 days, they start going a little crazy, right? So then you give them slap a new one on them. A whole new class of drugs becomes opened up to this person. Bipolar, right? Now, I don't have bipolar. I don't have the symptoms of bipolar. I just was like having manic episodes and insomnia because I was like on a crazy high dose of Wellbutrin, right? And Effexor, all sorts of like, they threw everything but the kitchen sink at me. At least the kitchen sink, I could have caught it and put it down, right? Anyways, so then this one's my favorite, oppositional defiant disorder. If you don't want to go along with all this bullshit, now you got a new disorder. You better shut up and take it, because otherwise you're proving them right. So that's a good one. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the ride for me. It took me like till age 23 to like fully transition off all this stuff. And I'm not knocking anybody who wants to take meds. I'm not knocking anybody who feels like seen and heard by like having a disorder. I just think it's like a messed up thing to do to a child, to tell them that they're disordered because they don't fit into the mold of society. They don't sit still, they don't shut up, they don't do what they're supposed to do. It might make it difficult for their mom and dad. They might have emotional difficulties like with other kids. Like, this is part of being human, right? Not everyone is going to like fit in a certain mold, and you're allowed to like be abnormal. You're about to, yeah. Now people are like embracing what is it, neurodivergent, like, that's assuming there's a normal, right? Like, it's good to embrace that you're neurodivergent, but you don't have to like take on these oppressive labels that are given to you to like pathologize you. And again, I said this in my other video, I'm not throwing shade on people with like proper disorders, right? Like, if your heart doesn't work, or if you have seizures, or if you have like Tourette's. I don't know nothing about Tourette's. I don't know anything about schizophrenia, so I'm not going to speak on those things. And I'm just speaking from my own experience, but I think like when you tell someone they're deficient and they're disordered and they're hyper, just because you don't want to sit still all day and listen to some boring teacher, like, it's crazy in the 80s, and now it's like it must be even crazier, right? Because like we got AI like figuring this out. We don't need to learn. I'm not saying memorization is bad and learning facts about your country, about where you're from, about the whole world, reading, writing, arithmetic, all that. Like, you got to learn this stuff, but it's just like a different world, and you're just trying to like narrow someone and put blinders on them. And if they want to take the blinders off, they got a problem. No, society has a problem. And anyways, I don't usually have as much fun. I'm usually like very serious and philosophical and talking for like 3 hours, but it just felt good to get that off my chest. And I know there's other people who feel like that. So if that's you, post in the comments. If you think I'm full of shit, you could post too. It's all good. Likely, I know your perspective. I see your perspective. Like, a lot of people, medication helps. A lot of people, having this label makes them feel like oh, I'm allowed to be who I am. But the thing is, you shouldn't need someone telling you have a disorder to be like allowed to be who you are. That's already like a messed up society, right? Like you should just be able to be you. If you're a little bit obsessive, cool. If you're like bored easily, unless you're like, really into something, that's cool. If you're like a little bit weird, that's cool. You don't need a label and you don't need a drug. If you want to like have a label and you want to have a drug, society's got you covered, but you don't need it. And it's like, and if you're a little kid and someone's dosing you up or putting pressure on you, like at the same time, like Nancy Reagan's saying, like, don't do drugs, like it's a little twisted. So, and I think society's coming away from that in some respects, but in some ways it's becoming a little worse, it seems like, because people are like self-diagnosing and like holding on to their like, I have ADD, I can't listen to you. Like, bro, just like don't do that. Like, you're you. It's okay to be you. It's okay. It really is. You can see patterns in your brain without putting yourself into a box that you're going to be stuck in for the rest of your life. Like, I'm not going in a box. I'm aware I have issues I'm going to be dealing with the rest of my life through, my genetics, through like the trauma I endured, through just my own behavior and good choices, bad choices. Like, we all reap the consequences of like our actions, including actions from when we were a little kid that we had no control over, really. So, but I don't know. I think it's just important to give yourself a break and not feel like you have this identity, you have this pathology, and there's something wrong with you because you like your ancestors survived for like tens of thousands of generations. Like, you're here, you beat out like 300 million other sperm or whatever. I don't know how many, maybe 300 million sperm in a load. I don't know. Google it. See, you don't need school. I mean, go to school, but like, you can also Google it. Yo, thanks for watching.